What's up, Honey Badger Nation? This is John Kitchens, and man, I am excited for today's episode. We are kicking off the new year. Got my main man from the west side of the 216, Mr. Joe Hollo, on with us, and we're going to dive into converting some dang leads. So I'm super excited, brother. Say hello to the Honey Badger Nation.
What is up, Honey Badgers? Glad to be kicking off this year, man. I am super excited about this year. I know you are, but for some reason it gets me all wound up every year. So I got some good stuff to go over today.
I know you do, as always, and you've been in full on coach train mode there at the Stacey Group for quite some time, and really, as you guys are scaling and continuing to grow. It's really, really important, for at least part of the value proposition that you guys bring to your guys' entire crew. And, I know you guys are really committed to a high level of training, and you guys went all in. I mean, you put all your chips into that adding value and training basket at the beginning of last year. I mean, you guys have always had that type of philosophy and mentality. But I mean, that's you guys lead with that, right? That's the leading value proposition. And I know we were chatting about you jumping on and adding value back to the Honey Badger Nation. That this is one of the training session that you're really pumped up about, and we all can really use a reminder and utilize what we're going to dive into today on converting more of the opportunities that we already have in such a distracted, world that this is key to really dive in. So make sure you guys have notepad, pen handy. I'm going to monitor the chat. I'm going to let Joel dive through. If you guys have any questions, want some clarity on anything, throw it in the chat, throw it in the Q&A for you guys tuning in. We are live in the Honey Badger Nation Facebook group. And hey, real quick, man, while we're kicking the year off, and before I kick it over to you and let us dive in, man, we've got a lot of new honey badgers. I saw there was a text flying around yesterday afternoon. Al, where he was, he probably shouldn't have been texting, but he was, and he was just trying to get clear how many honey badgers deep we are right now, and we're right at 3,400 total honey badgers in the Honey Badger Nation, and that's just. Guys, it's deeper than that. It's bigger than that. It is, that's just through the 7th levels. That's just, Jay, Al, and Michael through their 7th levels. So 7, 8, 9 levels, right? We can't see below that. And we know that we've got a lot of rock stars in the Honey Badger Nation that are deeper. But for those of you that are just tuning in, and I threw out the best of 2019 Expert Mentors episodes. If you guys have not tuned into those, there was some gold, absolute gold. And I already know what's in the lineup for this year. And we've got every week lined up through the first quarter of this year already. And so super pumped. I'm glad you're kicking things off. But Expert Mentors Live was really designed about 3 years ago now to tap into the horsepower and the talent that we have within the Honey Badger Nation. And it's just rock stars like Joel and rock stars like Kyle Whistle, like Daniel Beer, like Gogo, like Tammy Pack, like Tina Call, like Kevin and Fred, like Cujo, that love to give back. And that's what Expert Mentors Live is all about. We come at you every Wednesday at noon Central. Put it on your calendar. And you're going to get a rock star every week that's just going to be doing nothing but adding massive value, no sales, no nothing. It's 100% value add back to you guys. So make sure you're taking advantage of it. It's some of the best training on the planet that some of these people you can't even hire or get to. And, let alone being able to tap into some of their best stuff. So make sure you guys take it serious, take advantage of it, and get that notepad and pen handy, and let's get after it.
Dude, when you talk about what we have, the amount of talent that we have at our fingertips, and we use our proven and repeatable process, our systems that are backed by market research, that's shit that I'm going to be going over today. And by the way, the backed by market research, this is stuff that's passed around through Honey Badger Nation that I've received. And of course we modify it according to the market, which there's my disclaimer, right? This is some stuff that I want to go over some numbers, some ratios with these leads. I want to go over what voice messages are working the best in our market. These are 90% there for every market, and they just have to be tweaked. We run our own business, so it's up to you to find out if it's working, if it's not, and where to tweak it. So these are things that I got from everybody else, and we just compiled, and we figured out what works the best, what techniques, what follow-ups. And so it's just a matter of like you said, giving it right back. So this is all backed by market research from everybody that we deal with.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. Let's get after it.
All right, you ready? So the first number I want to start with, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, this was the last number that I've heard, but 1 to 25. Okay, so everybody on this live training needs to understand that, well, let me back up. We're going to start with internet leads, okay? Because that's what is probably the most popular. Everybody, whether you like it or not, right? That's just what we have. It's what a lot of us have in our buckets. And so 1 out of every 25 leads, give or take a couple, should turn into a transaction either now or in the future if you are working it properly. And unfortunately, these are leads that are, why is it 1 to 25? Because it's the good, the bad, the ugly, and the great, okay? It's the great of, hey, hell yeah, let's go see houses right now. It's the good that says, you know what, I'm renting and I won't be ready until summertime. It's the bad, like, you know what, don't call me, I'm just looking. And or it could be the ugly, which is go to hell and they hang up on you. So that's why there is a ratio involved with that. So if you want to do some quick math and really piss yourself off, what do you got in your bucket? Divide that by 25 and you'll find out how many transactions that should be sitting in your bucket right now. That'll get you fired up a little bit, but now you need the techniques moving forward as to, okay, how am I going to deal with these leads? What does that communication look like? And you need to make sure you're going through the proper rhythm of communication. This is going to be information that's literally hot off the press. I literally just picked this up from another group that's doing this, and it is working like wildfire. It was actually, when I talk about backed by market research, there's one specific agent that they tested this on for 1 year, brand new into the industry, fresh out of school, fresh out of real estate school, did 44 transactions in the first year based on doing this method. And it spread like wildfires. And it would really, it's things that we already know, but we don't practice on a daily rhythm. So if you're looking for a different result in your lead generation conversion, the key is it's not doing something different in your behavior. It's taking massive action when you do something different. So, so here's the one thing that's really been working for us. Okay, so the number one thing is when we get a lead, obviously we all know the speed of response is the number one, the biggest thing. So you need to be on board with the speed of response, with getting in touch with them immediately, if not within 5 minutes, okay? And we found in our market, not introducing us amazingly as, hey, this is Joel with eXp Realty. What we say is, hey, this is Joel from the home search site that you're actually on, taking a look at homes in the Cleveland area. So we identify ourselves, because here's the deal. Buyers and even sellers, they could be, 50% of the buyers that we're finding out are actually need to list their house as well. But so anybody who comes over as a lead, they don't want to talk to realtors. They're right. Doing, that's why they're doing online searches. And so therefore you immediately set up a roadblock when you say, hey, this is Joel from eXp Realty. They're like, hang on, 50% of the time, you lost them in conversation because you say that. So, hey, this is Joel from the home search site that you're actually, you're on my website taking a look at some homes in the Strongsville area. So that seems to really work for us by tailoring it that way. So then it becomes about what the conversation looks like after that point. So of course, I'm assuming they're answering their phone. And if they do answer their phone, somebody once told me it's about gaining control of the conversation, right? And so I literally just had a conversation with one of our agents yesterday. We were going through the clarity meeting of 2020, a little late, but hey, better late than never. And she said to me, you know what? I'm sorry. We were talking about, hey, when a lead comes through and, how do you talk to me about scripting? We were role playing, and she goes, I basically asked them, can I set you up on a home search? I'm like, when you ask questions like, can I, it's like, what they say about, the dog walking you.
Right.
And so we need to take control of the conversation as experts. And how do we do that? Someone used this analogy, and it was mind blowing to me. It's called heel to toes. And so as the person running the conversation, as the expert, as the person that is always on top, you are always the one on your toes, leaning forward into somebody, and they're on their heels. And the only way you can always be on your toes is asking questions. So you always want to ask questions to the potential prospect, the potential client. And it's, hey, you know what? I see that you're looking homes, you're looking at homes in the Strongsville area. And I was just curious, are you only looking at homes in the Strongsville area, or are you looking in the surrounding areas as well? Right? I'm on my toes attacking them. It's like it's the lion, right? And when you stop asking them questions, it becomes, lions don't ask sheep, or lambs for food, right? You want to make sure that you are the lion in the situation, constantly ready to pounce on them. And it's about questions, caring about their situation, going deep with your questions. You know what? I see that you are looking at Strongsville. If that's your only area, let me ask you this. Do you currently rent, or do you own? What's causing you to look at homes in Strongsville, right? I want to know about their why. Oh, you're growing out of your house? What happened in your life to cause you to grow out? Oh, you're having another kid? How many kids do you have? It's caring about their situation.
So let me ask you too, and when you're asking these questions, do you go with the flow of the conversation? I mean, we've all gone through, the straight line training. We've gone through, the script, keeping it on track. But sometimes, we hear something, but we're so stuck to the script that we jump to the next question that doesn't even make damn sense.
Yeah.
And so kind of where are you guys at in navigating that conversation? I mean, the whole objective on the phone, right, is to get face-to-face, to set the appointment. Yeah. So set a qualified appointment, right? Set the appointment, qualify the appointment, set the appointment, qualify the appointment. But is it, where do you guys kind of ebb and flow in keeping it like a conversation to where it doesn't feel salesy?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. That's what separates somebody who internalizes a script and is just running off of a script. It sounds very robotic. You're a menu order taker, basically.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, it's here. We have our own buyer counseling interview. And we've modified it according to our market, just like, the NAEA Kinder Reese seller counseling interview. We have modified that according to our market, what works. And we're not modifying it to make it an easier job for us and not asking the hard questions. Those hard questions are still on that sheet, but it's just a matter of how you tailor it. But yeah, you're having a conversation with them, and the key is you're listening. So it's internalizing that script or that interview, and you're listening to what they say, which if you're really good, and when you do get really good, the questions that you ask are tailoring or setting you up for the next question, or helping you get the answers for the next question already down the road.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a great point. And I just have seen over the years too many times people are so rigid to that, and they don't allow it to flow and have a natural conversation, because nobody wants to be sold. And
right.
Honestly, you ain't selling nobody nothing anymore, right? So it's just you've got to have that internal and yeah, we know the objective, the outcome we're trying to get to, and listening and asking the questions to get to that point.
Yeah, and so what we do is we coach and train with our agents on your object. You have two objectives of a conversation. Obviously identifying where the people are at, but your two objectives, the goal is to A, either set an appointment, or B, set the nurture. Because obviously not many people are ready right now, or at least they say they're not, but those are the two goals that we want.
This will be really helpful for everybody listening in. And words are too loose, right? And they have different meaning to everybody. And this is the whole agreements versus expectations. You know, my definition of success is different than your definition of success, right? You know, you consider a 5K success, whereas like 100K is a success for me, right? It's just different meanings. So when you say set an appointment versus like set a nurture, let's define what an appointment is, and let's define what a nurture is for everybody to give some context. That way you guys are crystal clear on what those words mean.
Dude, awesome point, because here's the deal. This was something that I failed at when I was actively selling, and that was building my pipeline, creating that predictable business for myself. So the beauty of the nurture is that I already know that I got you on the phone, and there's going to be, you're either going to tell me to go to hell because, you know, whatever, that's just what happens. Or you're going to be ready right now and I am going to set that appointment. Or you're not ready right now and I'm still going to set that appointment, to start the consultation process. I want to get you involved and tell you what we're going to be doing, our smart home buying strategy that's going to tell you what we're doing behind the scenes while you're working on your credit, you're wrapping up your lease, whatever that looks like, getting you involved with the lender. But then you have the people that are, you know what, we do want to pump the brakes. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. That's great. I'm going to put you on they're not going to know this, but I'm going to put you on our drip campaign, but it's not a computer generated drip campaign. For us, that's a recipe for a disaster, because that's where we get in our comfort zone and we rely on that. And I'll tell you what, when you're following up with them personally, it's way different. And you're doing it in a way where I'm going to go over, it will retain so many more buyers. And here, I'll go over it, but it's by using video and doing that type of a follow-up. And everybody has this at their fingertips, and it will change your business, I promise you. It's called a cell phone with a little red record button on it. That will change your business, that one thing right there, and that will separate you. And I got this idea from, obviously, you and I talk about this all the time, the power of video, but I actually got this idea, and I know people have even heard me use this analogy, when I had to buy a truck last year, and the salesman was literally answering my questions via video on the email. And he's like, "Hey, Joel, thanks for the email. Here's what you were asking me, and I just wanted to go over this stuff with you." And I'm like, damn, is that awesome? And so what is he doing? Differentiation. That's what we preach, because why do you want to be compared? Why does the Honey Badger Nation want to be compared to every other traditional real estate agent on the face of the planet that other people are talking to? That's why they're logging on to web pages and registering, because they don't want to talk to a traditional real estate agent. You got to step up your game a little. So that's the nurture. I hope I answered your question there. So,
give a little more context. Like what qualifies as a nurture? Like, clear motivation, valid contact information, timeline, next action date setup. Like what are the actual tactical things that say, okay, we got all 5 of these items, so we can call that a nurture.
Yep. So we call them nurture opportunities. And what defines us as an opportunity is we had a solid conversation with somebody looking to buy or sell either now or in the future. You can put a timeline on that future. So you could say within 12 months or sooner.
Sure.
That you have exchanged data, which allows you to follow up with them. And what we do is we do the assumptive follow-up close, which we set the table, right? You talk about expectations and agreements. The agreement can be in the form of a verbal agreement as far as we are concerned. And so what we say is something to the fact of, okay, so here's what happens next. So there's the heel to toes. You're running the conversation. It's not, okay, so would you mind if I follow up with you here in a little bit?
I like that. When would be a good time for us to get back together versus, hey, here's what's going to happen next. We're going to give you a call back in 30 days. So you're taking control. I like that. That was a little, that's a slight distinction for you guys listening in. I know, when we were vetting out the whole call center model in Dallas, defining characteristics of a nurture. One was, establishing, the agreed upon action date when the seller said, hey, give me a call back in this time.
Yep.
I like that aggressive, you taking control, you being proactive instead of being reactive to the situation of the individual that you're talking to.
Yeah, and everybody on the training, whether you're live or going to watch this back, you get that in your vocabulary. So here's what happens next, so here's what I suggest, and so we always tell our agents that. So here's what happens next. So here's what happens next. I know, I was listening to the conversation. I know you guys are about 6 months out, but I'm going to be following up with you, every 3 to 4 weeks, and here's what is going to happen during that conversation. We literally set the tone and let them know, like, all we ask in return, I'm going to call you. I just want to make sure you're good. And listen, everybody's busy, so I promise you I'm going to keep the conversation to a couple minutes, okay? And worst case scenario, if you don't answer, I'm going to shoot you a text. Just reply to the text. That's all I ask, is for you to reply back. I want to make sure you're still alive. We're still buddies, and I'm doing my job for you.
Yeah, no, that's great. I was just kind of looking through, what you're hitting on here are some of the magic words, right? That exactly what to say, the 23 magical words that really allow you to take control. I'm not sure if it's for you, but in what you were saying, what happens next?
Yep. And
that's one of the key phrases, one of the magical words is like when you're coming to that point, then it's just like, hey, here's what's going to happen next. And you're really taking control, like you said. So that's fantastic. No, that's great. I just wanted to get everybody clear, say, hey, yeah, I've got a pipeline full of nurtures. Well, I've seen a pipeline full of nurtures and I look at it, that ain't a pipeline full of nurtures. So like, I want to make sure that everybody's crystal clear on when we say nurture, that it checks the box that these are real legit nurtures. These aren't just somebody that you randomly had a conversation with and, oh, now they're your nurture and, they may never make a move, right? And they're not even the decision maker. Like they're looking for somebody else. Like you just didn't really go through the whole process. And then setting the appointment. I do, before you jump to the next step, I do have a interesting, just a thought. What are your guys' take on, we know the goal is to get on the phone and set the appointment. Yep. But I have, and you have, and I've seen, like, the first example of this was freaking buyer's agents in our office in Lawton, that when technology was nobody did this yet, but setting appointments via text, right? Like I've seen that shit happen. I've seen people close deals by setting an appointment via text to get going. We all have.
Yeah.
So like, what are your guys' take on, hey, and like you said, you framed it from the beginning, assuming as that I'm on the phone.
Yep.
But what if you can't get on the phone and you're able to interact with via text? Like what's your guys' take from a coaching perspective, working people through, that type of communication to get to the goal? The first goal is to set the appointment and obviously qualify it.
Yeah.
But like, what are your guys' take via the other forms of technology to set the appointment?
Preferred method of communication. I'm going to make sure that as long as we're asking the qualified questions that we're going to be setting that appointment no matter what, but there still is a process of what the appointment looks like and the steps that go into that. But absolutely. I mean, that's, you'll see, I have 4 main techniques to get a lead on the phone. Obviously texting is one of them. And here, let's be realistic. Why is texting so big right now? Yes, we could talk about the millennials. We could talk about just the day and age, but it's, if most people see a phone number that comes across their phone and they don't know who it is, their first reaction is to decline it. Yep. Okay. And the numbers last I checked were somebody is 73% more apt to respond to a text than return your voicemail. Mm-hmm. And so I'll still keep going on this, but that's why when you do have to leave a message for a lead, so say they are not on the phone, it's the exact same script tweaked a little, and letting them know that I'm also going to text them. So it's, hey, this is Joe with the home search site. Hey, you were just on our website taking a look at homes in the Strongsville area. Just wanted to call you to get a little bit more, make sure that you're getting the homes that you were requesting. And but hey, listen, just want to talk to you for a second, but I'm also going to shoot you a text if that's a little easier. This is my phone number. Would love to just jump on a 2-minute call with you. And then you follow it up immediately with a text.
Yep.
And then guess what? I'm not going to guarantee, but your odds go through the roof of getting a conversation, because a conversation doesn't have to be voice to voice. It could be text to text as well.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic point there. And just something that you had mentioned that hopefully everybody caught was preferred method of communication. I know all of our databases, CRMs always has that in there. What's the preferred method of communication? Because as even if you guys are the solo agent and you just have a virtual TC and you allow them into the contact records, they can at least see too, what is this client's preferred method of communication? Like for me, mine's text message, right? Like don't call me, don't leave me a voicemail. Like if you need to get me, shoot me a text. And everybody has their preferred method. So you need to know it. And it's really important when you have your team, so they know how to communicate with that client. So the client feels best understood, right? They feel like, man, this guy gets me, man. They know how to communicate with me. So those are just little tidbits and nuggets that you pick up along the way to anchor in.
Yeah,
cool.
It'll be easily forgotten too, because I've still had my agents come to me and they're like, hey, I was talking, I can't get this guy on the phone and he was hot and heavy over a house. And I'm like, okay, cool. How are you trying to reach out to him? Well, I've been calling him and he won't answer. How did you have the previous conversation? Well, we were texting back and forth. I'm like, there you go.
So we know speed of response, lead. We've kind of bounced around a little bit here, and I still think we're all around, the objective, set the appointment, set the nurture, getting clear. Like kind of what are some of the other key things, that we need to make sure we have in our toolbox to help us with our lead conversion?
So what you need to ask yourself on every single lead, okay? Because what's the number one response, whether you are a team member or a team leader, and it's, oh, these leads aren't working. Before you even look in the mirror and say that, you need to make sure that you check 4 boxes off your list. And I actually have a 5th box, but it's more of a big number that I'm gonna have you put on your board. The 4 boxes are, did I call the lead? Did I text the lead? Did I email the lead? And did I send a video to the lead? The big number is this. When I talked to you about the gentleman in Canada that they did this little test on, get this, the amount of times he reached out to every single lead, on average, that's a keyword, average, 11 times. 11x. Go put that number on your board. So if you literally say, I have done all 4 of these methods and I've done it at least 11 times for each lead, then you could tell me that your leads aren't working or these leads are not good. So what I want to do is break down these 4 methods a little bit that I just said. So
yeah, perfect. So what was your 5th? You said you had a 5th one.
The 5th was the 11x. It's like you got to make sure that you're following up these. And right, we've always been taught, hey, listen, the money's in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th follow-up, and that's true. So 11x is just a goal, but just tell me like this is our money going out to generate this stuff. If you are not committed to calling this stuff at least as many times as to basically take all error out of this. I mean,
and I want to make a point for everybody listening in. If you're a team leader and you're not instilling this rule that I'm about to share, instill it. If you're a team member listening in and you're on a team that has opportunities provided for you and there's technology and there's guidelines you follow, listen up.
Yeah.
If you do not mark it in the contact record, it didn't happen. Right. If you didn't mark in there that you sent a text, if you didn't mark it in there, you sent an email, it didn't happen. It's like working out and posting your workout. Like if you don't have the data and you don't have like the watch and the deal, it didn't happen. Right. Right. Or if you didn't get the shot, if you didn't get the selfie at the gym sweaty, then it didn't happen. Right. So it's the same thing. If we as owners can't look into the tools and the technologies and see it, the call was marked, time stamped, then it didn't happen.
Right.
And it has to be that way. Like, I believe the best in everybody. I always assume positive intent, but if I don't see it, it didn't happen.
Yep.
Period.
Yeah.
And it has to be that, it has to be that way, guys, because like when I look in there and you say the leads suck and I go to that contact record and there's only like one notification on there and you're like, well, yeah, well, I've called that lead, 20 times. I've sent 10 text messages. I'm like, no, you didn't.
Right.
Because it's not here. It's not part of the system. That's what you guys have to see. Systems and processes will set you guys free. And this is just part of it. So let's go through all four of those. There's a couple of things that kind of question on these four. Like one, you said call. Does that just assume if they don't answer that we left a voicemail?
Yeah. So that obviously you got call. You got two ways that could go. You have a conversation and you have a voicemail. But like, let me back up real quick. The reason why, so here's what we're changing for this year. And this is what's hot off the press. This is what the 4 things that our agents are tracking right now.
Okay.
I want to know how many calls you're making a day per week, how many texts you're sending a day and per week, how many emails, and how many videos. Here's why. I want everybody that's watching this to go through their phone right now and pull up the last text that they sent a prospect, not a follow-up, a lead, a potential client. And here's what's going to happen. Scroll, and maybe they would find one. And if they do, great. But my point is they're scrolling through how many texts? I mean, like, and this isn't, I mean, you said your preferred method of communication is texting. Mine is too. How many texts go out a day? Responses back and forth.
Yeah. Lots.
A lot. So I don't even know. Throw. I mean, here's the deal. Like, let's just say 200.
Yeah.
Right. Which
right, yeah,
might be a low ball number for somebody. So,
yeah.
but check out this number. Imagine if you sent 200 texts a week out to prospective clients. 200 times 52 weeks. That's 10,400 texts a year. Do you think something's going to come out of that?
Yeah, absolutely there is. I mean, it's just part of it. I had a conversation with, we'll let the cat out of the bag, but I had a conversation with somebody that's, really strong and built their business on social media. And, there's those key metrics as there as well, and treating it like a job, right? It's just part of it, whatever your method is. Yeah. So, tracking those things, getting those things out, absolutely powerful. Paying attention to the KPIs. Those are all effort, right? I mean, how many calls, text, emails. Now, are you guys using any type of automation? Is there any type of, preset text message? Is there a message that goes via text automatically? Like, is there some automation that you guys have built in? What's the human factor versus where we're leveraging technology?
Yeah, no, good question. Yeah, of course, there's a CRM involved, which does, we're erring on the side of caution for that. So if the agent does not register an attempted contact within 5 minutes, an automatic text does go out to that prospective lead.
And what are you guys seeing that's getting the best engagement, best response? Is there anything?
Yeah, the texts are doing very good. I mean, they are. But here's what's getting the best engagement is what I would like to say all the agents are doing, but what they're not is if you cannot get to that, you have a pre-recorded video text that's you, obviously, and it's you holding it. It's not somebody else. And it says, hey, this is Joel with the home search site that you were just on, taking a look at some homes. Listen, I'm just about to walk into a meeting, but I saw your lead come through or your information come through, and I wanted to let you know I'm going to give you a call here right after my meeting. This is my cell phone number. Feel free to shoot me a text, but I'm going to give you a call right back, and we'll just talk a little bit about what you're looking for.
I love it. And Dan Walters chiming in a little bit over here. And Dan, what's up, man? Happy New Year. Appreciate you chiming in. Yes, I believe the consumer is getting a lot smarter to automation. And so I'll give you an example though, your response has got to be better. I'll give you an example like, Frank Kern is doing a lot. There's a couple other digital marketing, folks that I've been following in their automation campaigns. I know they're automated, but some of them are damn clever. Some of them are damn good, man. They're funny. Some of them are funny. Some of them are like, all right, yeah, I got you. And it's like, you know, just even to the point, right? Just going straight M&M on them is like, hey, this is an automated response. Yep, I get it. You know, but hey, I know you're out checking out sites here in the, you know, here in Cleveland. You know, I sent you a voicemail. Listen to it. Call me back. You know, you just whatever. Just get clever with it, man. Just mess around with it a little bit. So I think there is. Where is the pull for cleverness? Joel, give Dan some cleverness help.
All right. So I got a really good one that if you ever want to, that gets a really good response, and it's a voicemail. It's, hey, you know, this is Joel with the home search site, you know, that you've been looking at homes. And I saw that you were looking at homes in the Strongsville area. And you know what? I actually have a list of homes that I have some information on that you're not going to be able to find online. And I just want to get that over to you. So give me a call back when you get a chance.
Yep.
I have information. So here's the deal. It's all about value add. You separate yourself from every other agent. If you're setting people up on a home search or a portal, in MLS portal search, without meeting with them, that's what they want. You're giving them what they want, and you're not controlling the situation. So what I want is I have something you want, which is information on a house that you're not going to be able to find online, or information about the house that you keep looking at that you won't find online.
Right.
And you have to call me to get that information, and I'm going to go through my buyer counseling interview with you.
It's a great point, man. You know, because like even for me, man, I use the Redfin app. Like, yeah. Unless I can't find something that I want, then I'll dig in a little bit deeper and try to get some insights. But you're spot on, man. I mean, everything's out there, so it's what can you give them there? I do have a question on the video and the video texting side of things.
Yeah.
CRM help. I mean, I know there's BombBomb. I mean, like what works, what doesn't work? Is this also a step back to do shit that doesn't scale? Is that kind of what we're talking about here? That you know, moving into 2020 and beyond is like, you know, everybody, you know, the big thing, you know, in the past is like, man, this automation, you know, but is there kind of a step back? I know Holly had a book around here somewhere. I mean, it's like, I think that's the title of it. Do shit that doesn't scale.
Yeah.
Handwritten follow-up cards don't scale, but they're powerful. Like they're like one of the most powerful things that you guys can do from a conversion standpoint. If you're not writing handwritten letters, you need to get that as part of your process. So what are you guys seeing on the video texting, being able to leverage that? Is there something that works better, or is it just flat out just do the work?
All right. So here comes honest Joel coming out. Man, and I can't speak to all of them, but CRMs suck for this stuff, okay? And that's just being brutally honest with you. It seems like a lot of our emails, if they do allow you to do video emails, which I'll touch on in a second, they go into spam folders. It doesn't really work. So coming from your actual whatever, your Gmail-based email, your company email, it's going to be better. And yes, it's not going to be scalable because there is some time that it is involved. But what can be better, or also shooting a quick personalized video. So I went over the one that's kind of, it's boilerplate. It's a copy and paste in there. It does look like it's a little bit different than a normal drip, but now it's, hey, John, it's Joel. Just wanted you to put a face to the name from the home search site. Listen, really appreciate you spending the time and telling me a little bit about your situation, with the 3 kids. You're one on the way, looking at homes in Strongsville. Man, I'm going to be your main point of contact, and I can't wait to help you guys find that beautiful home. If you send that off, now what is our job? Our job goes through the roof. I'm sorry, our job of retaining them as a buyer goes through the roof.
I love that. I love that. And there's nothing more than being able to, it's the whole being personally relevant, right? In your follow-up and making sure that you're giving them things based upon your situation. This is like, if you weren't able to set the appointment, we're nurturing. If you're doing things of personal relevance over over that period of time, you're going to build that connection. I was listening to something with, I think it was Perry. I was listening to Perry. He was on, he was on Joe Polish and God, I can't even think of his name. He was on their podcast. I was listening to the episode of he was talking about storytelling, but he goes, I honestly believe right now is the hardest time to sell somebody the first time. It's the hardest time ever to be able to sell somebody once.
Yeah.
He goes, but it's the easiest to sell people the second, third, and fourth times, because it takes so much effort to build trust. Right. And to build that authority. But once you do, then they become advocates for you. That's why, one of our pillars when you're building your business has to be built on raving fans. It has to be that client retention, past sale forever, has to be one of your
All right, so I believe if I'm still on here, guys, John Kitchens lost power. He just shot me a text. So he's going to be jumping back on. I hope I am still live and in action. So let's go over this a little bit more and talk about it. So yeah, there is going to be some personal touch, right? So a little effort on your part. And a lot of people, what they tell me is this. They say, oh, I don't have time to follow up with all these people. I don't really I need to set aside all these hours in the day. No, you don't. I mean, think about how many people you are following up with right now. How many people have you had a solid conversation with that you are nurturing through the process? You're following up with them for every 2, 3, 4 weeks. Well, spread them out over those 2 weeks. It's I don't know, maybe an hour a day to follow up with these people, but you have to make sure that you're taking them through the rhythm. And a healthy rhythm, depending on how far out they are, whether they're an A client, a B client, or a C client, which means they're either an A client, which is 0 to 3 months, maybe a B client, which is about 3 to 6 months, or a C client, which is 6 to 12 months. I have different rhythms of follow-up throughout all of those different types of clients. So maybe a 0 to 3 client, I'm going to reach out to them every single week. We're going to hit them with all the different methods of communication. I'm going to hit them with calls. I'm going to hit them with emails. I'm going to hit them with texts, and I'm going to hit them with some videos. But if you ever want to find out how do they want to be communicated with, it boils down to this. Hey, so I'm going to be following up with you. This is what happens next. I'm going to be following up with you. I promise I'll keep it really short. I know you're a super busy person, but how would you like me to reach out to you? Would you like me to give you a call, shoot you a text? And once they commit to a certain way, guess what happens? They are more apt to return the favor and actually answer or return your call because they've already agreed to this is the method that they want to be reached out to. So it's all good. So we got calls, texts, emails, videos. Remember the call. 2 things are going to happen. You're leaving a voicemail or you're actually having a conversation. Okay? The voicemail, make sure you set up the text. This is Joel with the home search site that you're actually on, taking a look at homes in the Strongsville area, and just wanted to reach out to you, talk to you a little bit more about kind of what you have going on. What are you looking for? And make sure that you're getting the right houses. Hey, listen, I'm also going to shoot you a text if that's a little easier way for you to respond right now. What happens? Get out your phone, and that text goes out. Hey, this is Joel with the home search site. Just left you a voicemail. Was curious at what type of home you're looking for in Strongsville, ? Guys, number 1, and this is, I'm going to call somebody out on here, number 1, because he keeps jumping on, and he's on my team, so I get to do this. Dan Walters. Guys, number 1, take your signatures off of your text messages. Stop. It's basically, pardon my language, it's diarrhea of the text. You're going on and 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 on. Oh, this is why I'm great. This is my website. This is my contact information, even though I'm texting you from it. Stop. Keep it short and sweet, because the people are very efficient nowadays. They don't want to hear all that stuff. So it's literally, hey, this is Joel with the home search site. Just left you a voicemail, or just left you a VM. Was calling regarding your home search that you were doing in Strongsville. When's a good time to talk? Question mark. How's the home search going? Question mark. That's it. Short, sweet. The most responded to texts and emails are what they call 9-word emails. Michael Reese has a phenomenal Shake the Trees session where he talks about going over to a fruit tree and shaking it. What happens? The low-hanging fruit falls. And why? It's because those are leads that you were forgetting or you weren't following up with. And how are we going to get them off of those stems? How are we going to get them, to drop on the ground and us to harvest them? Well, it's what's going to get them to respond. So it's the 9-word emails, the 9-word text to show that you're human. It's not the drawn out, this is my website, this is why you got to search with me. And, I've been an agent for 30 years and blah, 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 blah. They don't care. They would rather say, hey, just curious, what are you looking for? I'm a human. I'm realistic. I'm an expert. You're human. I think we're a good fit for each other. Let's do business. Okay. So that's what a voicemail or a conversation sounds like. Text. I just kind of went over that, but a text will get to a certain point where you will, you're going to be going back and forth. It is completely acceptable to say something like, when's a good time to talk? And let them answer. Scott Murray says, what's an example of a 9-word text? That's, remember, it's not exactly 9 words, but it's something along the lines of, hey, it's Joe with the home search site, just left you a voicemail, was calling regarding your home search site, question mark. How's it going? Question mark. How's your home search going? And is everything okay? Question mark. It's those realistic texts that go back and forth. All right. So also, when you go from the text being back and forth, like I said, it is completely acceptable to say things like, when's a good time to talk? You're going to get a commitment, and make sure you hold true to your commitment and you're actually calling them when they say it's a good time. Okay. There are really good time to call leads. If you guys want what our market best time to call these types of leads, call them from 4 to 7 p.m. and start texting them after their after your voicemail. That will be a 1-2 punch. And it's why? Because they're getting off of work, they're driving home, they want somebody to talk to, they want somebody to respond to, they're sitting in traffic. So make sure that you have identified when the proper times to call. Don't be calling them at 11:30 on their lunch break and wondering why the hell isn't anybody answering, or why is everybody so pissed off? They don't want to be talking to you during that time. So the timing is a crucial thing. And I don't want you guys to take time away from your family, but baby steps, right? Do this for a few days a week and see what happens, and then prove me wrong about it. And then the email goes out, right? We talk about the 9-word emails. It does not include, this is all the information about me. This is my background. Oh, by the way, I attached my resume and a picture of all my family and all. Guys, you're boring them, and they will literally lose interest in you within the first open, if they do even open up your email. So, the subject line is important. And we have case studies. I know I brought up Michael Reese's Shake the Trees study that he did. I have really studied that, and we've implemented that. And man, there are some emails that are crazy to get responses to. Something like a seller, when you say something like, here's an example of an unbelievable 9-word email to a seller. What do you think your home is worth in this current market? Question mark. End it. Tell me what kind of responses you get off of that. It is crazy, right? It's our job to gain conversation, like I said, via phone, via text, via email, however we can do that. And then that's what starts the flow. And then what comes? Hey, sounds like, we're a good fit for each other. When's a good time to talk? I'll keep it pretty short. All right. So make sure that you are hitting them with that. but email is a necessity. Now, it is down the list for us. The calling, the texting is the number one response rate that we're getting, but calling and texting, email's down there, but then we hit them with the video, okay? And I want to, if you guys, this is the ninja technique. The best shake the trees thing that we have ever done with all of our stagnant leads. And guess what? Oh, and let me ask you this question. How many of us have leads that have fake phone numbers or fake names? Yeah, majority of them. So here's the best email, because that's usually what's correct. The best email is the video email that goes out, because you can't call them. You have nowhere else to reach them. Shoot a video yourself, and by the way, this is repeatable. This is a generic video that goes out and says, hey, this is Joel from the home search site. Listen, haven't been able to get a hold of you. I don't think the number's correct, or the information that we got was not right. But I do have your email address. Listen, I just wanted you to put a face to the name and show you that I am a breathing human being. I am on the other end of this. And I just want to make sure that your home search is going good and you are getting the properties that you were expecting to come over. There's a couple tweaks I'd like to do, a couple red flags I just want to cross off with you. So when you get a chance, either reply to this email, here's all my information, or just shoot me back an email with your information. That would be great. Do you think if you did that all of a sudden all these leads that you've already forgot about, that should be your number one thing that you're going to go back and do right now? Go grab all the leads that you haven't reached out to in the last 6 months and later, and send that video out to them, and get ready. And so remember, it's a numbers game. These are leads that you never would have gotten a response from because you've already lost them. You've already forgotten about them. You've failed to follow up with them. That is a dynamite shake the trees email that goes out to them. All right? The power of video, I am telling you, it is changing the industry. And remember, A, they don't want to talk to an agent. B, you are classified as a traditional real estate agent already, even though they don't know you. So that's where the video is I can tell you in our marketplace, man, if I set 100 agents in a room, if one, maybe two of them looked at me and said, oh yeah, I send videos all the time, I'd buy them all steak dinners, because I don't believe that is the case. The traditional real estate agent is not doing that, and you need to step up your game, and that's what video is going to do. So that ninja technique will put thousands of dollars, if not tens of thousands of dollars, in your pocket, and then John and I will expect a steak dinner from you.
Especially if you're coming to Cleveland next week.
That's right.
Oh man, sorry, I lost connection there. This is the one of the cons of living in North Dallas, where new construction is. You never know when you're going to lose internet, or you never know when you're going to lose power. So
yeah, for sure.
No, back on us.
Yeah, we were able to roll, dude. So I probably was sitting there staring at the screen a little bit blankly for a second there, but you jumped right on it. We picked right up. So, but just I guess in not necessarily closing, but we could kind of open it up for any questions or anybody. That's what you need to do. Team leader or team member. Team member, look in the mirror and say, okay, I got all these leads in my bucket. Did I call them? Did I email them? Did I text them? Did I send a video text to them? And did I do this at least an average of 11 times? And then we could talk a little bit more about your leads. The team leader, that's a really good thing when you have an agent come to you and say, hey, these leads aren't really working. Well, did you 1, 2, 3, and 4? Did you do it at least 11 times? All right, cool. Well, let me ask you this: what's stopping you from doing that? And how can I help you, fit that in your schedule and be able to follow up with these leads?
I love it. I don't know if you touched on it a little bit. I mean, are you seeing a dramatic impact on conversion with leveraging the power of video, the personal text or the personal email video? I mean, are you seeing that's given a little bit of a lift to help?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's definitely increasing so we look at, once again, conversation rate, and a conversation is however you're conversing back and forth with them. And so, yeah, it's significantly increasing our conversation rate.
Using something like KV Core, some of the other tools that are reaching out based upon the information they give, if they're pulling some social, connection, social information, like, are you guys like trying to hit them if you have, know who it is? Are you hitting them up on Facebook, hitting them, Messenger, anywhere like that? Is that also like, hey, let's hit them in any which way we can?
Yeah, so it's retargeting is a huge thing as well, and I mean we have a social media expert on staff, Andrea, who is nothing shy of a badass, and she handles a lot of that, but also a lot of these lead generation companies now, man, they're handling a lot of the retargeting, and that's exactly what they're doing. We get a lot of our, I shouldn't say a lot, a number of our leads are coming from not only the Google, pay-per-click SEO, but it's coming from Facebook. They're retargeting people and they're saying, hey, I saw you were looking in the Strongsville area, click on this little home search site, and they are. So it is working. And I know someone said, on here, James said, what are you doing to generate some seller leads from buyer leads? I'm going to tell you, but I'm going to say, like, don't do your research on this, right? Everybody's market is different. We just switched over to Ylopo. And it is nothing short of fabulous. Look that up, Ylopo. It's actually the backside of Monopoly spelled backwards is why they did it. Not many people know that. But Ylopo is unbelievable with retargeting. It's got a texting bot included with it. And it works with your CRM. So it's not getting rid of your CRM. It's just doing a little bit different type of lead generation.
Yep, it is. It's bet on the jockey. Howard Tager's the owner of Ylopo. For those of you that have been in the game for a minute, you're probably familiar with Tiger Leads. Howard was the one that built Tiger Leads. He was probably on the forefront of what followed, which would have been Boomtown and all these other lead gen platforms and Commissions Inc. And but Howard was the one paving the way, and I think all of his obligations when he sold Tiger Leads, and he jumped into Ylopo. So, I mean, it's the top teams across the country are gravitating to Ylopo for a reason. And, if that's something that fits, that works for you guys, for a lot of you guys, single agents, tuning in here, I mean, you've got a badass tool in KV Core. You just utilize the heck out of it. If you're on a bigger team, I mean, that's something to definitely take a look at. We've got a couple minutes here. What's up, Jeff? So Jeff's, talking about, agreed, hard to have a CRM run all these aspects, doing some stuff in a CRM and then other offline via text or regular email. How do you keep all of those touches organized, tractable, and accountable?
Wow, good question. So I'm going to answer on our level, on a team level. I'm not sure, what Jeff has, but so this is the world that we come from. So our team, we have a form that they fill out. It's a success form at the end of the day. It's almost like an end of the day huddle. They get to fill it out, and I want to know, once again, how many calls, how many texts, how many emails, and how many video texts they sent. They are suggested to update the CRM. I do CRM audits every single Monday. And it might sound like it's, oh man, that's not very efficient with your time, but we keep it very efficient. I also have somebody else in the office that we do it together to make sure. So I want to know that all the leads are being updated, notifications are being made, they're doing what they say they're going to do, and there is no lead in new lead status, more than 6 hours. If it is, they're getting a contact from us, and then they're getting the leads pulled. Okay, now the success form is really good. And the reason is because A, it gives them something to do, right? Take ownership of what you did for that day. They fill out the success form. And yes, you have a challenge of this. Maybe they give you a little lip service and they lie about what they did for the day, or maybe they didn't. And if they did, how do you know whether they did complete what they said they were going to do? By the results. So if they keep lying, I know that there's something wrong. And Kitchens, you've taught me it's going to be there's 1 of 4 issues, but I've really narrowed it down to 1 to 3 issues. Everybody has the best technology nowadays, so that one's kind of out the door for me. It's going to be an effort problem, it's going to be a skill problem, or it's going to be a data problem. So I'm gonna eliminate some of those, and we're going to figure it out. So they will get sniffed out because it all revolves around the results. Absolutely.
And appreciate you, Jeff. So Joel, as we're wrapping up here, man, I, first and foremost, appreciate you, taking the time. I know you guys are running full steam ahead, full throttle there in the land. Any final, like, man, if I could just hammer home this one thing for you guys, what would that be?
Yeah, and honestly, if you're looking for, and so the whole reason of this, if you're looking for right now business, if you're sitting back going, oh man, I really don't have many deals in pending, or I have no deals in pending. What did I do over the last month? What did I do over the holidays? Being consistent, being good and consistent with with your rhythm of calling, the texting, the emailing, the video. That's the hugest thing. But if you want right now business, go and shake those trees. Do exactly what I told you. If you're worried about how you look on video, get over it. You've heard us say it 100 times. What you think is a shitty video is better than everybody else's absent video. So get on there. Don't worry about how you sound. Don't worry about your double chin. It is still a differentiating factor, and people want to see that you're still human and you stumble over the words or, whatever it is. So start implementing that stuff, do something different, and take massive action in your business.
Absolutely, brother. And spot on. And appreciate all you guys. Thanks, Dan. Like rocking it out, man. And what a way to kick us off into the new year. Appreciate you guys jumping in and tuning in. Please, I'll get the replay posted up, shared in the Honey Badger group. If you guys have any other questions, hit the comments or message us directly. And, first and foremost, make sure that you guys give Joel plenty of love. It's like I said, the horsepower and the talent that we have within the Honey Badger Nation. And, for these folks to take the time out of their busy schedules to pour back in and add value, it's invaluable. It's priceless. And I think the least that we can do is, besides taking massive action from what they share, is definitely, showing some appreciation, some gratitude for their efforts. So, brother, appreciate you as always. I know I'll be talking to you soon, and man, we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Love you, Honey Badgers.
See ya.
See you guys.